All right, let's talk about something really important today. We're going to get into the difference between being lazy and what might actually be depression. Honestly, understanding this can change everything. So let's dive right in. I mean, does this question just hit you right where you live? That feeling of being totally stuck. You see your to-do list getting longer and longer, but you just feel frozen. It is so frustrating, and way too often, people just don't get it. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? On the outside, people might just see laziness, maybe a lack of discipline. But you, on the inside, you know it's something else. It's this heavy weight, this fog in your brain that has absolutely nothing to do with how much you want to get things done. Okay, so our first sign gets right to the core of the problem. Where is this inaction actually coming from? Is it a choice you're making, or is it a state you're just in? I love this idea of a motivation switch. Think about it. Laziness is usually an active thought, right? I don't feel like doing the dishes right now. But with depression, it's like that switch deep inside your brain that powers all motivation has just been flipped off. And no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to find a way to turn it back on. And that's when this really painful question starts echoing in your head. Suddenly, this simplest stuff, things you never even used to think about, like taking a shower or texting a friend back or just making a simple meal, they can feel like climbing Mount Everest. It's not that you don't want to do them, it's that the energy it takes to even start feels impossible to find.
This is maybe the best way to put it. It's not a flaw in your character, it's a problem with your resources. Your mental and emotional battery is just completely drained. It's stuck at 1%. And it doesn't matter how badly you want to do something, you just don't have the charge. That's what emotional exhaustion really is.
So, that leads us right into our second sign. Because it's not just about what you're doing, it's about how you feel when you're doing nothing at all. This is such a huge difference. When a person is just being lazy, resting feels, well, it feels good. It's a break. But with depression, rest doesn't recharge you. It actually becomes this breeding ground for guilt and self-criticism. Your body might be still, but your mind is basically at war with itself. So instead of finding any peace, your mind just starts up this relentless, horrible commentary. And it often kicks off with these simple, brutal judgments, like this one. And from there, it just spirals. It goes into these painful comparisons, and your brain creates this whole story where you're the only one failing, the only one getting left behind. And it all ends with this absolutely devastating question. You see the difference? Someone who's just being lazy doesn't usually hate themselves for taking a break. That intense self-blame, that is the hallmark of a mind that is really, really struggling, not one that's just relaxing. Which brings us right to sign number 3. And this one is all about what you find yourself avoiding. The answer here can tell you so much. See, laziness is usually about putting off chores, right? Things you find boring or annoying. But depression is different. It makes you pull away from the very things that used to light you up, the things that brought you joy, your favorite hobbies, hanging out with your friends, even listening to that music you love. All of a sudden, they just feel like, effort. And you know what? There's actually a clinical name for this feeling. It's called anhedonia. And just putting a name to it is so important because it validates what you're feeling. This isn't you just being boring or your personality changing. No, it's a recognized core symptom of depression. It's a massive signal from your brain that something is really wrong. So for sign number 4, let's look at what's happening inside your head. Because even when you look completely still on the outside, there is often a hurricane happening on the inside. Here we go. Another huge difference. From the outside, it might just look like you're lying on the couch, staring at the ceiling. But while being lazy often comes with a pretty quiet, relaxed mind, depression is almost always accompanied by a mind that is intensely active and totally overloaded. And this is why you're so tired. Your brain is working overtime, 24/7. It's caught in this constant loop of replaying mistakes, worrying about what's next, beating yourself up, and imagining the worst-case scenario. It is a silent energy drain that completely exhausts you without you even moving a muscle. It leaves absolutely nothing left in the tank for actual life. Okay, this brings us to our final sign. And honestly, this might be the most important one of them all. This one is all about desire. This right here, this captures the deep internal battle of depression.
Someone who's lazy is often kind of okay with their level of activity, but a person with depression usually cares so much it hurts. You want to get better. You want to be productive. You want your life back, but you feel completely and utterly trapped. You're frozen, helpless to actually make it happen.
That desire you have to change, that is the proof. You are not choosing this. It feels like your mind and your body are being held hostage by some invisible force. And that force has a name. It's depression. So, if any of this today has felt painfully familiar, I just really need you to let this message sink in. What you are going through is real, and it is incredibly hard. You are fighting a war inside your own head, a battle that is completely invisible to everybody else.
And that's the ultimate thing to remember here. Experiencing this does not mean you're flawed. It doesn't mean you're weak. It's part of being human. And in a lot of ways, it's a sign that you have been strong for way too long. And now it's just time to get some support.
So I'll just leave you with this question. It doesn't have to be some huge, grand plan. Just think of one person. A friend, someone in your family, a doctor, a therapist, just one. Because taking that one tiny step to share what you're going through, that can be the start of everything changing for the better. You really don't have to fight this all by yourself.